demigods, mortals, and friendly monsters. Merry Christmas, Joyeux Noël, Feliz Navidad, Bon Natale, Merry Christmas, and all those other languages that I don't know how to say Merry Christmas in. That intro worked. Anyways, heyo, it's me, ya girl, and today's a Christmas video. I'll admit, I really wanted to make some sort of Christmas-related video this December, but I had no idea what. I obviously still wanted it to be about Heroes of Olympus, but canonically, demigods don't even celebrate mortal holidays, so that ain't gonna work. I knew I could write a fan fiction, but then I was like, I'm not so sure that's a good idea. I'm not sure I know what I'm doing when it comes to fan fictions, and I don't know if I'm ever going to touch that idea with a 10-foot pole. So I started asking myself, what's Christmas all about? The answer is presents and hot chocolate. But it's also about family and love and spending time with those you care about. So today, we are counting down the top 10 examples of our favorite characters doing exactly that. Welcome to the top 10 friendships of the Riordanverse. And I mean like two people friendships, so 1, no romance, 2, no trios or any number more than 2, and 3, no siblings or blood relatives, just friendships. 10. Blitzen and Hearthstone. I was reluctant to put this on a list of friendships because I think we all know they're dating, but canonically Hearth sort of has a thing for Inge, so... But anyways, friendship or romance, Blitz and Hearth are very cool and it's very fun to read about them. I mean, the extent to which they care about each other is just so wholesome. Hearth is so sad when Blitz gets turned into stone and he's already suffered enough. Stop hurting Hearthstone! Not only are they almost always together, but they just have such funny scenes together. And Hearth, who rarely shows any emotions whatsoever, burst into tears when Blitz was unfrozen from statue form. Their friendship has everything, honestly. It's funny, it's lighthearted on the surface, but deep down they would literally die for each other. They share the love by taking in a helpless kid. I can't express how much I love their friendship. Also, I totally ship them. 9. Samira and Magnus. Definitely my favorite friendship from Magnus Chase. Friendship, not ship. We all know that Fierro Chase is completely endgame, and also Magnus and Samira are also just totally platonic, but anyways! Their friendship is so beautiful. I love the way it was developed in sort of summer and how they learn about each other and reassure each other when they're nervous or scared. Magnus dubbing Sam as the annoying little sister when Hearth says that they're a family of empty cups was such an awesome moment for both of their characters. And Sam, who is certainly used to being judged and mistreated by others, lives with a wall that isn't easy to break and usually doesn't let people in. Watching her slowly let Magnus in is just so amazing. I also love the beginning of Hammer of Thor when Magnus is just like, never take a Valkyrie out to lunch, you will end up with the bill. And then later in the last chapter he's like, let's try this whole going out for lunch thing again. Also, if there's anyone Magnus would ever discuss his love life with, it's Sam. And I can just imagine Magnus constantly telling Samira how much he's in love with Alex, and Sam telling him she won't say anything, and then casually telling Alex everything Magnus says about her. 8. Hazel and Leo. This one may have started out as a rather awkward romance, but I think is great as a friendship too. Like, there's one moment in Blood of Olympus when Leo mentions that after the last book, Hazel had come into his room and just been like, tell me about the girl you fell in love with. And he described Calypso and Hazel just drew her for him. And in the House of Hades, there's this one moment where they get separated from the other demigods and Hazel starts screaming and sobbing and she feels so terrible and she turns to Leo and just starts apologizing for everything that happened between them and for thinking he was Sammy. And Leo reassures her by telling her that he thinks the world is a machine and everything will turn out okay in the end. I don't know how to describe why that moment is so amazing. It just is. I also like that their friendship didn't simply fade away after it was established. It's established in the Mark of Athena and then remains relevant and present in the House of Hades, and though not quite as present, it's still brought up and pretty important in the Blood of Olympus. Their connection remains important and doesn't just fade away for plot convenience or in favor of establishing new friendships like certain other friendships that really shouldn't have become irrelevant after one book focusing on them. Percy, Hazel, and Frank. 7. Piper and Leo. The literal definition of best friends. Why? Because they're silly and chaotic and they insult each other regularly and they're just a realistic friendship, dude. As someone who has never had a love life at all and didn't meet any of my friends through any monster fighting or whatnot. It's the only Heroes of Olympus friendship I can perfectly relate to. I would honestly love to see more of it. In Lost Hero, Leo warns Jason against standing up to the mean girls making fun of Piper because she hates having others fight her battles for her. How does Leo know that? What story is there behind that? Piper and Leo's memories of Jason at the wilderness school may be fake, but their memories of each other weren't. How did they become friends? Piper and Leo just have such a relatable and fun to read about friendship, and I'd love to see more of it. 6. Thalia and Annabeth. Obviously, this has to be somewhere on this list. It's the classic scenario of runaway kid raising and taking in an even younger runaway kid. I put Thalia and Annabeth instead of Luke and Annabeth because that one's pretty complicated and was not entirely platonic for Annabeth. Thalia and Annabeth is another friendship that I just think it would be awesome if we saw more of. Annabeth was on the verge of tears when Thalia joined the Hunters, and when Annabeth gets captured, Thalia is desperate to save her. And yet, despite their really deep emotional bond, their friendship is almost only seen in the Titan's Curse. It's great the way it is, but I also think it would be awesome if it were developed further. And so often, Annabeth mentions and brings up the time she spent with Luke and Thalia. It's clearly a huge part of her character, and though her connection with Luke was definitely important to the franchise, I can't say the same about her connection with Thalia. And no, Uncle Rick, that is not a suggestion for you to turn Thalia evil or kill her off. Please don't. I'd just like to see more of Thalia and Annabeth. That's all I'm saying. 5. Reina and Thalia. Reina and Thalia have such a great friendship, don't they? It starts with Thalia capturing Reina, Reina attacking her, and their pure awesomeness and empowered natures leads to them immediately getting it off. They're both just such independent and confident characters, and you don't think about it, but when you actually do, you realize how much sense it makes for them to meet and become friends. I won't spoil the Tyrant's Tomb for anyone, but I'm just gonna say that Reina's decision in that book furthers their friendship, and it's awesome. I think it's pretty cool, and their scene together in Blood of Olympus is perfection. 4. Jason and Nico. If you stan Jason, you gotta love this friendship. Nico and Jason's bond really demonstrates what's to like most about Jason. He has no reason to care because he's a golden boy. He's privileged and idolized by everybody, and Nico literally tells him incessantly to leave him alone and to not bring up what happened with Cupid. It would probably be a lot easier for most people in that situation to simply turn the other cheek and not get involved. But Jason, no way in Tartarus is he going to let someone suffer alone when he could stand up for them. He knows it's dangerous. He knows that he is at no obligation to. Again, Nico makes it clear that he doesn't want Jason's support, but he does it anyway. Because he won't let Nico suffer alone like that, and he does everything he can to support him while also respecting him and not outing him to anyone. To the point that he trusts Nico enough to literally drink poison for him without hesitation, just to prove he cares. Nico spends most of that time ignoring Jason and avoiding him entirely, but it's clear how much Jason's friendship means to him. And in the end, despite how rarely he makes it clear that he cares about anyone, or even more rarely he lets them have physical contact with him, he finally lets his walls down and just lets Jason give him a hug. One simple gesture that speaks more than 1,000,000 words. Nico is like that one friend you have who is so rarely lets it be known that they care about you or wants to be around you, but when they do give you like the slightest sign they care, you know it speaks volumes. 3. Percy and Grover. It's pretty hard to beat such an awesome friendship, especially considering that it's the first of the entire series. I'm going to enjoy reading the comments on this video because I know there's going to be a lot of people who think it's awesome that I included Percy and Grover but not Percy and Jason, and a lot of people are going to be really mad that I included Percy and Grover but not Percy and Jason, and they're going to argue about it. It's going to be great. This is the friendship that kicked off the Percy Jackson franchise before Percy is Annabeth the Thought. This is the friendship that kicked off the entire Percy Jackson franchise before Percy and Annabeth's friendship and relationship did. Grover is just such a kind soul, and him and Percy are such good friends. It has so much that you want in a fictional friendship. It kicks off in the first book, so it provides nostalgia. It's funny, lighthearted, and enjoyable in a goofy way, while also showing a deep emotional bond between two people who care so much about each other and do everything they can to reassure one another. There's a moment in The Last Olympian when Percy tells Grover that no matter how many new friends he makes, Grover will always be his best friend. And that was so precious and sweet. 2. Reina and Nico. Now, I know that there's gonna be some debate over my putting Reina and Nico higher up on this list than Percy and Grover, and I'm pretty sure I'm biased because Nico and Reina are my favorite characters. But oh well. Name me a more iconic and beautiful friendship than the one between Nico D'Angelo and Reina Avila Ramirez-Arellano in The Blood of Olympus. You can't, because there isn't one. Okay, yes there is, that's why this is second on the top 10 list and not first, but anyways! It's just a really cool friendship. I say Jason played a big role in convincing Nico to stay at Camp Half-Blood, which is obviously true, but Reina was obviously the person who really turned the tides. And as much as I love Jason and Nico's friendship, and Jason did a lot for Nico didn't really do much for Jason. In terms of them like helping one another, it's a little one-sided. Reina and Nico's friendship goes both ways. Both of them have some of their burdens lifted by sharing their pain with each other. Reina sharing her secret about her dad, and when Bryce shows up and threatens to expose her quote-unquote little secret, Nico rushes to Reina's aid and straight up vaporizes Bryce Lawrence. In doing this, he exposes his own secret to Reina, and much to his complete shock, she accepts him and doesn't judge him. Something that pretty much defines his choice to stay at Camp Half-Blood. And she finally hugs him near the end of the book in front of a crowd that roars with approval. What part of that is not completely iconic and amazing? Also, get yourself a friend who will vaporize those who harm you. Moving on! 1. Lester and Meg. Say what you want, but to me, nothing can beat the friendship that had 5 books dedicated to developing it. No other friendship in the Riordanverse has 5 books dedicated mainly to it, and that is why I stan Lester and Meg's. And yes, I am aware that Percabeth exists, but I said friendship, not romance. As I've said in the past, I've always found that the Trials of Apollo are the most relatable series in the Riordanverse because it doesn't focus on romance. The characters as love interests play such a small role in the story. Instead, it's about family and friendship, something that everyone can relate to, unlike romance, especially given the target demographic of these books. Most people who are at that age aren't dating someone at all, much less someone that they're super serious about. Not many preteens and middle schoolers can relate to characters like Percy and Annabeth on a romantic level, but so many more can relate to Lester and Meg on a friendship level. Their friendship is so beautiful and wholesome, and they both have such extraordinary character development that each other contributed so much to. Also, I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you've read The Tower of Nero, you know why thinking about this friendship also makes me cry like a baby. Anyways, that wraps it up for today. Sorry this video wasn't really in the holiday spirit as much as you may have expected, but I still hope you enjoyed. If you're watching this video on the day it comes out, that means you're watching it on Christmas. So what are you doing on your phone or computer? Go say hi to your friends and family and spend this day with those you care about and all that zappy stuff. So with that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.